Hi, today I'm going to be showing you how to create your clay shelf topper. Now you're going to watch me from an above view, but I will be tilting it to show you what it looks like from all sides. So we are going to be making a smaller pinch pot, attaching the head, and then attaching all the little features that make it look like your animal, person, or your character. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do so that the clay doesn't get all dried out and so we don't forget is from our ball of clay, I just want you to take your pinching fingers. I've been working with clay, so that's why I have so much clay in my nails. Pinch off a couple pieces that are about marble size. So think of a marble and what size you want that little foot to be. Now, if I roll a ball, just pretend you're washing the windows, roll a ball, which in art is called a sphere. Flatten it a little bit like a tire, but you still want it to remain pretty thick like your finger. Otherwise, if you do it like a tortilla, it's going to break. And then shape it into whatever shape you want the foot to be. If you're doing something like a paw, you can take a popsicle stick. There will be some tools at your table. You can kind of press in what you want that to look like. And then make sure you make another one the exact same size. So it might be best to pinch off the clay first before you start making it. I'm going to make mine back and forth, flatten it like a little tire, try to make it close to the same shape. So this is going to be for the feet. So not teeny tiny like the size of a pea, do it more like the size of a marble. Okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to sit that to the side, and then I'm going to start the pinch pot body. So the body is going to start as a sphere. So remember, if you roll it into a ball, if it's not a perfect ball, you can take your fingers and try to kind of push it into one. We can fix it more later. Okay, so that's pretty close. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to start pushing carefully. I'm going to put this one in the palm of my hand so it doesn't become too flat on the bottom. I'm starting to push my thumb inside until it's about as thick as that cookie between my fingers. I'm using them kind of like what they call calipers. I'm measuring between the two. If it goes all the way through, it's going to look like a donut. So I say it looks more like a mushroom shape. Mushroom shape. There we go. Mushroom shape. So I'm going to take my puppet fingers and carefully squeeze between the two. And you can see down below that hole is getting larger as I go around. Now keep it rounded up there because you don't want it to be too flat. So I'm taking both of my thumbs inside, pinching it between the two so that the thickness, not just up here, but all the way through to the opposite side, all becomes the same thickness. About the width of my pinky, or think of a cookie. Okay, so that's pretty good. Turn it upside down. This is the body. We've hollowed it out so that we can later add the pipe cleaners for the longer legs. I will be adding the holes, so don't worry. One year I had students add the holes and the holes didn't go all the way through, and then we couldn't attach the legs and the beads like you can see here. So I've got the pinch pot. Now I'm ready for the head. Now at the table, there's some extra clay for you to share with your table. You're going to pinch off the size that you think that the head should be. I say about a ping pong ball. Roll it into whatever shape you want it to be. You can change up that shape however you'd like, and then you're going to attach it. Now, if you just put it on there today, it's going to come right off. So you have to do something we learned about, and it's been a couple years because last year we used Model Magic, something called scoring. Scoring is where you do crisscross lines on the piece. It's kind of like putting Velcro together. Crisscross lines on both pieces. And then I want to add just a little bit of water, not too much because it turns it back into mud. And then when I put it on, I don't want this to flatten. So if you put your thumb inside and put this on and just kind of give it a little bit of a twist, press it on, make sure it's pretty good. On the back of your animal, it might even be a good idea to smooth it to get rid of the line. So I'm going to say, I'm doing an animal, so I'm going to say this is going to be the back. So I'm going to go ahead and smooth that part just to make sure that it really stays. Now the test to make sure that it's working is to try to kind of lift it up, give it a little wiggle. If it doesn't come off, it's going to be fine. If it does come off, we can always hot glue it back on. Now there's some different methods that you can do for this. You can draw right on it. There's some different toothpicks and tools that you can draw right into your clay. You're scratching it to give it a texture or a line or a shape. You can pinch out of it. So let's say I wanted to pinch the ears. I can take some of the clay and just start pinching and then fix the shape. That's an easy way to add smaller things. Or you can attach. So just like when we attach the head, anytime you attach something, you have to score it. If I'm rolling a ball and go back and forth like a little cylinder shape, that's good for an arm. So let's say instead of attaching them right here, because if they bump, they might break. So I would actually recommend attaching it in a bigger space. So you can see how I'm going to attach it either here or whatever you want your animal or person to be doing. Make sure you score both pieces. Now, if you just say, oh, Miss Adams will never know that I didn't score, guess what? If it falls off in the firing process and breaks, I'm gonna know. So I'm gonna put it on, keeping my fingers inside, make sure I don't smush it. And I'm going to smooth it on. So I say score it, which is the scratching. Add some water, stick it on, and then smoothing is always that best thing to make sure it's not going to come off. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing. Some other things you can do, if you're trying to make longer ears, like for a rabbit, just know, take a bigger piece, roll it back and forth, bend it over, or whatever shape. If it's too big, you can always chop it to get rid of some of that extra, and maybe attach it at the back, but remember to make sure you score. My bird right here, to make the little owl feathers, all I did was I took here, I'll show you on a scrap piece of clay. I took my lid and just kind of pressed it in at an angle, and then I had some really cool feathers. You can either attach the eyes. A lot of times I feel like that makes them look like big giant eyes. So I like to take lids. I'll just show you one. Or just poke it in with something sharp, and you can poke in the dot where the eyes are. Or here's one where I did the lids. You can see I pressed in a little bit of a straw and then a smaller straw to press those parts in. This little mouthpiece, I just made one ball here, and then a little nose. Make sure you score it when you add it together. So those are just a few tips. You will be getting a piece of manila paper to write your name on. So as I come around and you are finished, you are going to be placing your clay and the feet so that I can go back and attach them after class on that piece of paper with your name on it. If you don't do that, I'm not going to know who it belongs to. So I'm adding water, I'm sticking this on. I'm going to continue working on my little animal or whatever I'm making. Let's say I'm going to do big ears, I'm going to do a mouse. Whatever you would like to make today, even if it's not what your sketch was previously, you can change up your plan if it makes it work better for you. So you can see it's hollow inside. That's my pinch pot. Make sure you score it, wet it, and stick it. And then I will be adding these holes at the end of the day. So if it's not hollow inside, yours will not be able to have any legs to attach your feet. I'm also going to add holes to these as well. So make sure you write your name on that manila piece of paper and your code so that during my lunchtime I can go back and add the holes to the feet and to the body of the clay body. Okay, I hope that you have fun.